Jack here, owner of Hockey Alley, bringing you back hockey history. Today's guest is NHL player Wayne Babych. How are you, Wayne?
I'm fantastic, living a dream out here.
That's awesome.
How are you doing?
Everything good, thank you. Thank you for coming on and talking to me on my channel. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
You got it. How many years did you play in the NHL?
Well, shoot, if I can remember correctly, I didn't quite finish 10 years. I got hurt. I had a career-ending injury in my 10th year, so
Oh,
that did it for me.
right.
But the injury was, in that era of hockey was pretty violent, and somebody two-handed me from behind over my knee, and I wasn't supposed to use my right leg again, but I had some fancy doctors that got me back on the ice. They used pig parts and I think some human parts to put me back, and I came back and played the last 4 games of the season, and the next year to this day, I have no feeling in my right leg, but I'm able to walk and skate,
Hmm.
not at the 100 mile an hour that I used to go, but maybe 10 miles an hour now.
Man. So it was in the back of the leg like a slash, and was there a suspension or anything after that happened?
well, well, it was a career. It was a two-hander, like a baseball bat from behind. I won't mention his name, but I took him out at center ice on a clean hit. But he was one of the aggressive type of players that, not going to let some young guy take me out like that, and then
Yeah.
kind of tracked me down and two-handed me as I was breaking into the middle, seconds later, and that ended everything.
Oh, sorry about that.
Started the old-fashioned brawl, started the old-fashioned bench-clearing brawl. It's quite, the only thing that's, I probably would have hated some young kid taking my job, so I guess maybe that was a blessing in disguise that I was taken out like that, so there's no chance of me coming back and playing. But, I was just, in the same breath, I was just, we're negotiating a 4-year contract, if I remember correctly, and if I would have signed that, I would have been probably set up for life. The salaries weren't that big, but I got my 60,000 career-ending injury payout, and that was it. Thank you very much, but that's just the way it was in those days.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so how did you get good to make it? Because the average person out there doesn't know what it takes. So how did you get good?
Well, hockey wasn't my best sport. Baseball. My dad in 1956 was drafted by the Washington Senators, and because of a family breakup, my grandpa, they split up, and he stayed on the farm. There's 8 kids, and he stayed back and wasn't able to probably fulfill his dream. I don't know if you ever remember the King of the Courts, Eddie Feigner, and these guys. My dad used to pitch against them. He was a great ball player.
Mm-hmm.
He skated a little bit, but it was kind of, like I say, baseball. I was drafted in Major League Baseball a long time ago. That was my better sport. I was probably twice the ball player. But money wasn't the same. It was like, when I was offered $35,000 to sign and $35,000 to play. Seattle gave me the biggest contract at that time, and hockey at the time was $100,000 to sign and $80,000 to play. So it was a money thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be, I guess going back to kind of the Canadian thing is to every kid wanted to play in the NHL.
Yes.
I had the blessings of with baseball and hockey, and I was a better ball player, probably twice as good. But it was the money thing, and for going, it was kind of all happened in my 18th year that I was supposed to be a number 1 draft in the first round draft, and things were good, and I broke my arm, like my hand, and was in the cast. They still scored 50 that year, and it was kind of it was in your blood. Things are going good, and you have people talking to you, all the agents and your team. I played my last couple. Our franchise moved from the Edmonton Oil Kings to the Portland Winterhawks, and I was there for the first 2 years in Portland. And so Brian Shaw, our owner, and Ken Hodge, our coaches, obviously wanted me to go the hockey route, and obviously the money thing And when you play, I mean, the average career those days, I think, was like 3 point some years. And, I had my mom and dad and family that sacrificed a lot. And there was a chance to kind of pay them back for financially, give them things for doing everything they did for me. And so, like, I mean, I worked hard. Like, there was nothing, I don't know. I mean, people, our training program, like, we go on the farm every weekend and all summer, and picking rocks to hauling bales to riding. I remember every morning we'd ride 18 miles into town and back, and in the evening the same thing. So 36 miles on the bike, and probably did a million sit-ups, push-ups, picking rocks.
Wow.
Like I say, we were ripped. Like, we were in great shape. And I actually remember my first NHL in St. Louis. They were telling me to slow down or else they're going to initiate me. I was going 100 miles an hour while we had the 30-day training camp. So guys came in with their playing weight, but not in the greatest. Well, I mean, they were in good shape, but
Yeah.
I was going probably twice as fast. But I wanted to make the NHL and, make my family proud of me. I guess that's kind of how I took it. And make sure I'm not wasting my time here. And the love of the game. I mean, it's something that grew on me. And, I paid the price a lot of times with some broken bones. But, I mean, it was fine with me. Obviously my mom didn't like that. But it was a cool thing. And, it was just something. I wanted to become a professional athlete. And hockey gave me that, gave me the, financial kind of way to take care of, give gifts back to my family. And, plus when I was down in St. Louis, I wanted to make sure I would be the best I could be.
Yes. Yeah, that's awesome. Did your game change at all when you got to the NHL from juniors?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. The thing is like, I look back at it, and I look at, different players, that are scoring like 70 goals. I mean, you'd hear all these guys in your first round, like out east, and the Ontario League, Quebec League, and some players in our in the Western, those Western Hockey League. They they scored a lot of goals. I could score. I was fast. I love hitting. They always the scouts in my gym always said I'm an NHL player. Now, I try to do everything well. I love to hit. I mean, I didn't back down from anybody. I love to score. Love to be a playmaker. So and I always was tagged. Everybody, they never said I was a great goal scorer. No one ever said I was a great passer. They always said I'm an NHL player, and I just didn't know what that meant. And when I got into the NHL in '78, I was always on my first 2 years. I was always on 40-goal paces. I remember leading the league and scoring the first month or so, and until everybody caught up in reference to in game shape. And I remember seeing, it was kind of interesting. Guys that I used to watch, and Guy Lafleur was one of my idols, and some of these guys like that. And my name was above them in the scoring race at one time, and
awesome.
I kind of laughed. And I know, then I was always in the top there, and then I broke 2 ankles. I got tripped in Colorado, and I ran to the end boards and broke both my ankles. I think that took me out. I don't know how many games. I think I missed about 15 games, 6 weeks on that. But I was, like I say, the first 2 years I was always in Portugal. But my teammates, like, I was playing with Bernie Federico and Brian Sutter. I couldn't ask for anything better than that. And we were the number one scoring line on the team, and had the opportunities on the power play and stuff like that, and got a lot of ice time. So that's obviously what you want. And then my 50-goal season, well, that was, we kind of was funny how that started. We were like 10-10. We had a really good team. Red Berenson was coaching us.
Okay.
And we're going into Boston, and we're like. We had we were one line offensive team. He comes to me and says, "Wait, I'm going to move you to another line with Blake Dunlop and Jorgen Patterson. Let's see how that works out." And we never beat Boston, and we beat Boston 5-3 that game, and our line got all the goals. And
nice.
So now 2 lines, and it kind of spread the thing. And I I played the rest of the season with those guys, and that was when my 54 goals season. Probably could have scored more, but I got hurt a little bit too there. You know, everybody wants to entertain me for some reason. They want lots of fights.
Yeah. So
Anyway, it
you're
was
saying
fun.
that chemistry is everything. I mean, you moved to the other line. All of a sudden, it was chemistry between you. I'm not saying that Federico and Sutter weren't, but it does make a difference. You think just tiny bit of difference with different players at that level? I mean,
No, we kind of had the roles, but I looked for Bernie to give the puck so he could set us up. Same with Blake Dunlop; he was a great playmaker. We weren't known on our line that the second with Blake and I, we weren't known as a real physical line because they didn't back down, but they never played a physical. Jorgen Patterson was a young Swedish player that was great talent.
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
Great skill. But Jorgi, he dipsy doodle. We moved the puck, and I was sort of, I guess, the shooter for a better word. I think Jorgen got 30-some goals that year.
Yeah.
We had a lot. I think we had a lot of 30 goal scorers, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of 20 goal scorers. We had a great team that 81. We just got injuries at the end, and we didn't go too far. I think we lost to New York that year, but the chemistry was definitely. But you had a job to do, and you knew who it was the systems were, and everybody. You try to use everybody's talent to the like Blaker, like I say, give it to Blaker, and he'd give it back to you. From Jorgi, he could shoot too, but he was not none of these guys were selfish players. And if someone was in the open, you give it to them, and it worked out great because they couldn't just watch one line; they had to watch two lines, the two offensive lines, and that kind of opened things up. So it was great in one way. It was great. It was a great season. I'll never forget.
Great decision from the coach, definitely. Who was your toughest opponent over the years? I'm not talking just physical, like to defend against or to play against, skill wise.
Well, I it was kind of actually like it was a great feeling. Had Bob Gainey watching me all the time.
Oh,
the great checker. He's big, fast.
Yeah. Yes.
And it was kind of funny that it was in Montreal where I scored my 50th goal, and Robinson and him collided at the blue line. So I had a sort of like a semi-breakaway in from the blue line in. I could hear their skates. You're so tuned to the game, you could hear their skate blades right behind me. So I was hoping. I still had a month to go to score my 50th goal, but Montreal was my favorite place to play in, and I wanted that 50th goal. I wanted to put it in one of my spots that I love shooting at, and I can tell you the story now. It's after more than 10 years, but I wanted to either go top glove or on the ice on the far side, coming off the right wing. And I'm coming in. I could hear their skates going, and I see him drop his glove, and I let her rip, trying to take go over the glove, and it was a bullet along the ice between his legs.
Who was the goalie?
Oh man,
was it Sevigny? Richard Sevigny?
Yes, I think that was the goal. Yes, okay. I think so. I'm pretty sure that was him. But it was, like I said, I wanted to make it. But, everybody says, what a shot. But, I hit it hard. There's no doubt I hit it hard. But I missed my target about 4 feet, I think. But I was starting to hear those skate blades, like Gainey skate blades behind me, and I let her rip. And it was a bullet between the legs on the ice. And he thought I was going upstairs. I think he thought I was going upstairs too. So.
Oh, for sure. They probably.
Yeah. That was. It was fun. It was a fun day.
Awesome. Did you have any superstitions playing the game?
Well, it was kind of the only superstition I had was there's a comic Tumbleweed, and there's one character there. His name is Lots of Luck. So I always had to draw his character on my my t-shirt or my undershirt. That's it.
Oh,
You had to be on there. And then plus I started, being a right winger, I did my right side first. It was like my right shin pad first, my right elbow pad. Everything went from right to left. That's kind of, just over the, you just kind of get into a routine like that, and
yeah,
hopefully it works all the time.
yeah. We all do the same things. What kind of sticks
Yeah.
did you use? What kind of sticks did you use over the years? So my channels talk a lot about hockey sticks. I do talk a lot about the history of sticks. And what did you use?
Well, I think it was, they carved out a 2x4 out of my stick, if you know what a 2x4 is. But no, at the time, most people, they Sherwood is a big thing, and Titans were there, but I liked the Victoriaville, and they attached themselves to me. And I remember, I saved my contract. When I was a 50 goal scorer, Victoriaville gave me $1,000 a year.
Wow.
And that was, they just no stick company gave contracts like that.
That's awesome.
I still have. I have to save it. Just look at the stick now. I have my 50. The Hall of Fame took my 50th goal stick, but I got my 54th goal stick here, and I'm actually looking at it right now. It's like I don't know. It's kind of funny how you could use a stick like that compared to the stick of today.
Yeah.
It's probably 3 pounds lighter, the stick today.
I mean,
there's a lot. It
Yeah.
was also used to protect yourself, and you learn fast, and where you sharpen your stick and stuff like that. So when you used to, guys used to carve you up with a sharp, like a little knife.
Oh yeah.
All the tricks of the trade of hockey.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
Did you have a certain curve that you liked? Did you? How did you get your pattern?
Well, it changed a little bit. I separated my shoulders, broke my collarbone, and then I had a rotator cuff in my 4th year. I turned from it was kind of like almost like my stick was about a 5 iron, and it curved right at the heel, started right at the heel of the stick, and it was pretty much straight, but it opened up a little bit. So, and when I shot hard, but I had to drop my shoulder because it hurt. It hurt so I could change just by doing a little different drop. I could shoot to the far corner in a heartbeat without the goalie kind of recognizing what I was doing, and it's just something I got used to because of my bad shoulders. And then it's after my 50 goal season, my next year I ripped my rotator cuff apart, and in those days, I was in a fight. The referee grabbed my wrist when I was throwing a punch at somebody, and it just totally ripped it apart. But in those days, and being in St. Louis, our doctors were the St. Louis Cardinal, and it's a big baseball injury. But because in hockey you use everything below your shoulders, they didn't do surgery on me. They just rehabbed, and the first rehab I came back, and first fight I had, I ripped it apart again, and then they finally decided to manipulate it, so rip all the scar tissue off the shoulder and rebuild it again, but never did the surgery. So, and to this day, I had to wear a body harness after my 50 goal season. I wasn't the same player. I changed. I had to change a lot to didn't have the shot that I used to have the previous years.
It's tough. Yeah. Anything funny happen over the years that you remember with the teammates or against the opponents?
Funny, no. I remember at the All-Star game, I was picked. I have Buffalo, and they called me to play there. So off to LA I went. And I'm there with my cream-colored, my Miami Vice kind of a suit. So anyway, my roommate, he said, "Babs, the bus is here." And so I'm in a hurry. I got 2 pairs of shoes, so I put my fingers in. I guess I grabbed the 2 middle ones. They're obviously opposite, and I put them on. They felt they're the same kind of shoe, just different colors. And I'm walking down down the, they introduce us, and we go down the center aisle while all the people are clapping their, they're giving your credentials and why you're there and stuff. And I'm looking down, I'm shy. I see one black shoe, one brown shoe.
Oh.
So anyway, I get up to the top, get to the, the front, I'm sitting next to Ted Lindsay up there, and I didn't realize what he was doing there. And I told Ted, I said, geez, I can't believe I got two different shoes on. I said, and sure enough, he had to tell the world that I had two different shoes.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Because he was the guest speaker. So anyway, besides that, there's a lot of funny things that happen.
Yeah.
But that was one kind of interesting thing. Even have it on my hockey card. I was kind of laughing. Nothing else to write about me except my shoes.
Oh. And you wore the Northland helmet, correct?
Yeah, that saved my life.
Were those really protective?
Well, in that era, yes. I mean, I got to use it. I felt very comfortable. And I know I ran into the boards a lot of times, and I think if I didn't have that helmet, I'd probably be dead. It's kind of funny when I talk about that. My mom's brother, my uncle, he's a bishop, and we're talking about certain things, and I said, Uncle, at the national anthem, whenever I pray that I don't get hurt. Because I'm kind of talking this only because he's the bishop, and I wanted to talk something about religion. I said, I can't believe I still get hurt. Like I say, I pray all the time. He looked at me and said, Wayne, I watched you play, and I think God saved you from getting killed. Okay, that's a good answer, Uncle. I am not dead.
No.
So, anyway,
it
was.
Yeah, Dave Babych is your brother. Was there any competitiveness between you two when you played each other?
Well, of course there is. I kind of laughed. It was a big thing. Our first game against each other here. It was in Winnipeg. So we flew in our folks, and they came in, and we had a great team, and there's Dave, their number one draft pick, and anyway, I get the puck at the hash marks, and I see an opening, bust through the opening because I had speed in those days, and all of a sudden I'm seeing the lights. Someone hit me. The crowd goes crazy. So anyway, I didn't really know who it was. I didn't know who it was at the time because you're scrambling to get back up. And so anyway, my mom was talking to my brother. Why'd you hit your brother? And I'm listening to his answers. I didn't know it was him. He's been probably waiting all his life to hit me because I used to kind of steal the show, the conversation because I was in the NHL and then he got. But the competition was even when we were young. I guess he wanted to make the NHL. He just sort of, if I could make it, he could make it. And I think that's why he lasted twice as long. And mind you, it's also he's a defenseman, but probably he was like 235, probably one of the strongest guys in the league without a doubt. And he played. He was a great player. And there was definitely. I'll tell you another little story. So we're in St. Louis the next night. We played back to back, and so anyway, I'm going, and he's going back for the puck, and he's my brother. Like I see who it is. And I was giving him the outs pass to his defense partner because my job was to hit him.
Yeah. And
just before the boards, where he still had the puck, and I was just about to hit him, I was still hoping he'd have that outlet to pass to the defense partner. He makes a move on me, and I hit the end boards, and he goes up the ice with the puck. So anyway, I was mad. I come off the ice, and Barkley Plager, I think it was our coach at the time, he gave me heck. I don't care if it's your brother or not. You got to put him through the boards there. Because the Plager brothers, they're all brothers, and don't you dare do that again. But anyway, it was fun. It was always kind of fun to play games. And then, we were lucky enough to play together in Hartford for the 2 seasons. So,
that's cool.
So
that's awesome. Yeah. Is there any favorite coaches that you've had over the years?
Well, they're all interesting people. They all had their own styles. I enjoyed Barkley Plager, and I enjoyed Red Berenson. I had I had guys like Jacques Demers and Jack Evans and Emil Francis, even our coach in St. Louis. He had to take over. I was kind of lucky. I was always on really good lines. We played a lot, but Bergeron in Quebec, he was funny. He was. I enjoyed him. He was. He always. He always give you the honest answer. He never beat around the bush. I gave him a lot of credit for guys that were sitting out. He'd go and tell them why they weren't sitting. Why they were sitting out.
That's good.
You don't see that a lot. In my era, there was I seen guys their sweater wasn't on their in their stall, so you knew you weren't playing, kind of thing. And he always went and talked to them.
That's
so
good.
that's the kind of coach. They all the players. I was blessed with that. I played a lot, so that's all I can ask for, and try to do the best I can.
Yeah.
When I played,
Absolutely.
went through a lot of injuries. That was the bad thing about me, and I.
Oh, yeah.
Fought too much. Always fought the tough guys. Remember, they always wanted to pick on me for some reason. I don't know why, but maybe it was my pretty face. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You were there when Mario Lemieux was a rookie for the Penguins. So you played for Pittsburgh Penguins, and Mario Lemieux was there rookie year. Was there anything that the way he prepared for the game that fans don't know about? Like anything that you saw
No. I was his right winger his first year.
Really? Wow.
I went. Yeah. He was very quiet. I never seen anything out of the ordinary. Good teammate. What surprised me is, like he was a young kid, like 18 years old, and he wasn't built like a massive. He was a big kid, big, strong legs and all that. But when he stepped on the ice, you couldn't knock him off the puck. His strength, it's your balance and strength. It's a different play. Like him and Gretzky, they weren't obviously the strongest players around, but their skill level and the way, just their IQ in hockey, they're great players. And the only thing, there's two things. Gretzky was my centerman. Wayne was my centerman in Team Canada Juniors in '78.
Oh, really? Wow.
I loved that. He said, Wayne, I said, I'll give you the puck. He said, you can get the open, I'll give you the puck. And sure enough, I gave him the puck. And if I was open, he'd give it right back to me. It was a great thing. That puck, I definitely was always looking for it because I always got it back. And I think we were the top scorers for Team Canada that year. And then Mario, unfortunately, he's a right-hand shot, so I was always on his backhand. So I picked up the garbage that year. But what a skilled player Mario was. It was amazing to, as such a young man, such a young guy, and I think that was my 6th or 7th year in the league, and the talent that he had, and obviously, he went on to be his greatness, same as Wayne.
Yeah.
I joke around and once in a while, like I said, I probably made these guys when they were young, but I started them off. Sorry, I started them off. But like I say, their stats, great and great people too. And I've always it was enjoyment. It was one of my highlights of my career. Besides my 50-goal season, to play against individual, play with guys like that were on the same line as me. So it was great. It was wonderful.
That's awesome. Wayne, I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to me. Some great stories, and really appreciate the time. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
You got it. You have a great one. Enjoy your day. Thank you.
Yeah. You too. Okay. Take care, man.
You too. Thank you.